Hello and welcome to today's topic, which is protein. I have divided our discussion into 3 videos, and this first one will be describing what protein is and what it does. To begin with, if you are looking for some projects to do because you're hanging out at home and you would like to try making your own nut butters, here's a picture of one that I did. I used peanuts, what we happen to have, put them in a KitchenAid, a Vitamix, a Ninja. I would not suggest using a blender. It will overheat and create too much smoke. Anyway, you put them in. You start blending it, it kind of becomes this coarse powdery substance for a little bit. Keep going, scraping, and then eventually you get this creamy, smooth nut butter. If during this course it becomes a little smoky, I would suggest adding a little bit of water and it will help it to become creamy. You can do this with almonds, you can do this with cashews, you can do this with peanuts. If you want to add a little bit more flavor, you could add a dash of agave syrup or honey or dates. You could put sugar in it, but nut butters in general are just ground up nuts. If you look at the back of your Skippy or Jiffy bottle, you will see a lot of extra ingredients added, and that's to increase shelf life, to prevent it from separating, to add better flavor, because humans like sugar, right? But if you want just the nut butter itself, it's delicious. I really like it at this stage because it's got this warm, fresh out of the oven kind of feeling to it. Anyway, just an idea in case you're wanting to do something like that at home. So protein, this was one of your quiz questions. Our body is home to at least 10,000 different proteins. If you would touch your hair right now, if you would touch your skin right now, if you would flex, the oxygen carrying hemoglobin in our blood, the enzymes that keep us alive and active. So our body is home to a lot of different types of proteins. And right here is a chemical structure of what the protein actually looks like. Protein is made up of carbon and hydrogen and oxygen and nitrogen. So what do proteins do within our body? Their primary function is to build and to repair tissues. So they also do all of these things. They help with fluid and electrolyte balance, acid-base balance. They help to move proteins. So if you remember our talk on cholesterol, cholesterol is wrapped around by a lipoprotein, and that's what helps to move it and act as a ferry to and from the different places. You remember, too much cholesterol is not good, but we do need cholesterol in keeping our arteries in the shape that they need to be in and such, and so those lipoproteins help to transport them. Protein helps in blood clotting, part of our hormones, part of antibodies, and it can be used in energy if necessary. So there is a way for our body to break it down into the amino acids in order to provide us with the energy that is needed through gluconeogenesis. If you're interested in that, you could look that up, but not something that we will cover. So how do we make up that many proteins? So the English alphabet, we have our set number of letters. Here at our house, we sing the ABCs a lot. Rowan is learning his ABCs. And there's a lot of rules engaged and involved in creating words in English, right? So you have your vowels and your consonants, and we have to follow these strict rules. In protein language and protein alphabet, there are 20 amino acids. So just as we have our 26 English letters, there are 20 amino acids, and they act as the building blocks or the protein alphabet. So I have pictures of Legos and cars, so kind of like a long freight train made up of different box cars linked together in a common manner. So as cars can be uncoupled and regrouped to comprise a different train or set of trains or length of trains, different amino acids can be joined together to make larger or smaller protein units. So our English language has these rules that require alternation of vowels and consonants. With proteins, there are no rules requiring alternation or length restrictions. Peptides are, the amino acids can be arranged in almost an infinite number of ways. So here are some examples of single amino acids. So part of the 20 amino acids that we have, then they can be combined to create longer branches, longer strands of amino acids. So the protein alphabet, within these 20, 11 of them are non-essential amino acids, so AA amino acids. They can be made by our body using other proteins within our body, but there are 9 of these amino acids that are considered essential or indispensable. So they must be included in our diet. So for example, the absence of one of these essential amino acids from the diet would preclude the formation of any of those proteins that contain that letter or that amino acid. And so the tissue requiring these proteins would not be able to be maintained. So here are some examples. Here are the 9 essential amino acids. So leucine helps with protein synthesis. It assists with muscle building. Tryptophan is important for the development and functioning of organs in the body. You see most of these are coming from animal-based proteins. The absence of one of these essential amino acids, again, would make it so that that long strand of amino acids could not be created, and so the tissue requiring those proteins would not be able to be maintained. Some of these, all of these amino acids that are essential also have a plant-based source. Okay, we are going to end with that, and then I will post a new video as well. At the end of the 3rd video, I have some questions that I would like you to answer on the discussion board.